We have to keep improving because the other teams are not standing still as well. And
it's why Max was in such good form today, because he knows he's got a car that can challenge this week.
Checo was on exceptional form as well. It is also on. Max Verstappen and Red Bull saying we've now lost a win, a pole position and a fastest lap due to track limits. It's like, well, yeah, or you've lost them due to driver.
I was very happy with that result. Yeah, to be honest, we have a good car, but like I said, it's very close. So it's very hard to say who is favourite, because in terms of lap times, when you look throughout the whole race...
I had a long chat with him earlier this afternoon. I said, have we seen the best from you yet? He said, no, not at least until my 30s. Like, he knows there is a long path until he's at his best, but he says he feels ready. He's content. He is absolutely in the moment and ready to take this chance.
Even though he's got a car now that can fight for the world title, which he's never really had before, he's not letting him face him. He's not getting involved in mind games. He said, well, I can't be bothered with mind games in the press conference. I think the way that he's dealing with that is so important, especially as if we get an increasingly tight title fight. Well, actually, we actually look better than we thought we were going to coming into this weekend. And
I mean, the guy is just on incredible form at the moment.
And so serene.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing. So much more of a mature Max than I think we've ever seen before, and you can't fault his driving. Like, that guy deserves to be where he is at the moment. And
100%.
You know, I asked him, I was like, did you have a chance to celebrate? And is having fans here again. But I think he just said he had
perfect weekend for him last time out. I don't think there's much more he could have done to have improved his performance around here. He's on a very different plane, a very different level to the Max I've ever seen before. There's just a calmness to him. He's really just taking it all in his stride. But he's very focused on the works. Verstappen, a first ever, well, he's half Belgian, half Dutch, so he's had sort of home races at Spa before, but proper as a Dutch driver, home Grand Prix for him. How much is he looking forward to racing on this incredible circuit at Zandvoort? Anyone's guess. What I find fascinating with all of this is how it's not just a battle on track, it's a battle for sort of hearts and minds out of the track. Toto, Christian.
A Grand Prix, and this is the first time. I think the reset came at just about the right time for him, because he had those tough couple of races just before the summer break.
Yeah.
He's coming here to a couple of circuits actually where the expectation isn't too high.
I thought we didn't get to see it there, but we know that the Red Bull can deal with the high-speed circuits like Monza, but we are expecting Mercedes to have an advantage. The question is, how much of an advantage? Because
it'll be the end of the world.
I understand that approach, completely understand that approach. He's just playing down the expectation, playing it cool, staying focused, and he knows that if I do my best week in, week out...
But Red Bull are going to be ahead for the whole weekend. You spoke to Max. Different sort of vibe from Max?
Max is confident without being confident, which I know sounds a bit strange, but I think he feels...
If you're lazy and you don't prepare well, then your momentum is gone, you know. So we all need to be very focused and make sure that we put the car on the track in the best possible way, together with, of course, the engine packet.
In Saudi Arabia?
I think that he was pushed quite far. They look back on it, they want to win it and win it on track.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be close. I think we're going to see the kind of battles that we've seen from race 1 in Bahrain. You know, I was looking back at this season.
There's a slight element of fatigue, and I don't mean that in the sense that it's been a long season and they've been battling hard on track. Almost so many questions from the media asking them for their side of the story, for their take on events.
You know, the target for Max Verstappen, the target very much on Max Verstappen as a championship leader. I spoke to him earlier today, talking about how actually he's just focusing on... So they had enough fuel in the car. There have been some rumours that they had underfueled. They hadn't. There was enough fuel in the car. It wasn't even the pump. There was just a bit of an...
Which is very different this year.
Yeah, it is, because you were driving brilliantly in Saudi. Loved that battle between him and Charles Leclerc. I feel like they're the favourites this weekend. That's kind of word on the street, word on the paddock, word in the paddock.
Finishes from 6 starts so far this season. It's such a difficult time for Red Bull. Christian Horner insists...
For me, that's why Red Bull couldn't allow Checo to win the race.
Checo wants to be. Max is driving without any pressure, loving it since he's become world champion. And you've got this, and I think if Red Bull can continue to get these 1-2s, they're going to be competitive on all fronts this year.
Ferrari will be hoping that they won't be.
And yeah, I think we're definitely one of the best. We just tried to get on top of that first.
Looking
where will they end up? Here, of course, everyone knows the track a lot more, so probably it will be even closer.
Speed is going to really give them a strength. Max Verstappen will want to put the misery of last year and that failure, Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton on the podium.
Max Verstappen picking up damage whilst in the lead of the race.
What
Max
are we expecting? Yes. What are we expecting from Red Bull on this track? Super hot. Tyre deg being an issue for him in Austria, but is it the same sort of tyre deg here? Thermal degradation, I'm thinking, rather than perhaps what he was experiencing in Spielberg.
Verstappen started at the back, was up to 5th already. He pitted, and that meant Carlos Sainz.
We have a great car. Spa was probably a little bit better than expected, so I think
It's a run of 5 wins now. Yeah. It's been extraordinary. This is such a purple patch for him and for the team as well. It's been mightily impressive to watch from afar, just how dialed.
I think so. I think it's going to suit Red Bull right down to a T. I think Max is in the form of his life. I think the very fact that he's got to number 14 or potentially number 14 in race 20.
For Max Verstappen, 14 wins in a single season, just sublime. Such an amazing driver.
And the Red Bull team as well. And Red Bull were very strong actually in their statement, saying that kind of language, death.
Let's look at Red Bull. So fast they turned the engine down towards the end.
Max Verstappen has been poorly this week. He had a stomach bug, so didn't feel he was able to fly to be ready to be here on
this track. But is it one that you enjoy, and do you think it's going to suit your package this weekend?
Well, I think overall, it should be quite all right for us. But because of the layout of the event, quite happy, of course, with what we are bringing. And the good thing is that I think we understand our car. And if you understand your car, then of course you can step by step, improve it.
Fred Vasseur is circling wherever we end up in the paddock and still laughing his...
As it had been on the grid, but that doesn't tell the full story.
Fawn, and the answer coming in here still is, can anyone catch them? Can anyone beat them? And I guess Aston Martin, with that upgrade, will be hoping they can at least close that gap. But we seem to be saying that week on week at the moment.
We do, and I do think, in all honesty, they are delivering week in, week out. It's been in the top 2 only, isn't he? In every race so far this season. It's a phenomenal achievement. And I think often we talk about how, okay, it's all about the car, and if you've got the best car, of course you're going to win. But we've seen a massive difference between Max and Checo this year. Yeah. Max is just making the most out